Tessa challenged me to talk about an adaptation that I felt used its medium to its fullest potential. And I am super excited that she did because I love this stuff, which I imagine is why she challenged me to do so. Thank you so much, Tessa. When I hear adaptation that uses its medium to its fullest potential, I immediately thought the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. But in Alicia's first response video, she talked about the Lizzie Bennet Diaries and why it works in the format that it does, and gives a really succinct and well thought out explanation of that. So since that one was already covered, my brain got to move on and think about different adaptations, and I'm so glad it did, because then I landed on The Mystery of Edwin Drood. This story's been adapted a few times. The one I'm talking about is the musical written by Rupert Holmes. First, let's look at the original source material. The Mystery of Edwin Drood was the final novel written by Charles Dickens. Dickens' plan for the novel was to release it in installments over time, which I think is very clever because the story is a mystery, like the title suggests. Edwin Drood goes missing in the story and is presumed dead, probably murdered, and so it's a whodunit of all these characters of who could have killed him. Sadly, Dickens died before finishing the novel. And I'm just gonna say that again because I think it's wild. Charles Dickens died before finishing his murder mystery novel, leaving us without an answer to the mystery that was set up. Now, through conversations that Dickens had with friends and family, as well as letters he wrote to friends and other writers, people have put together what is most likely how the book would have ended. But this musical adaptation does something different. It doesn't just pick an ending, whether it be the one that's most likely or one that they thought was the most interesting. This musical is highly interactive, and the audience actually gets to choose the ending. Holmes didn't just take inspiration from Dickens' novel, he also took inspiration from the kind of theater that was being performed in Dickens' day, specifically the English pantomime style. Pantomime was a very interactive style. The audience was expected to call out to certain parts, to sing along. So the musical, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, is a show within a show. It is performed as if the actors are actors from the Royal Music Hall, putting on this show in the late 1800s. There's a chairman who openly talks to the audience. The actors break character to stop to get applause. A popular part of pantomime theater was the idea of the principal boy, which was a young male character that was always played by a woman. Part of the appeal of this is that if a woman was playing a young man, she could dress as such and then show off that sexy, sexy shin that we didn't usually get to see from the ladies. Oh, the late 1800s, you were a strange time. Now, this transfers over pretty well to Edwin Drood because Edwin Drood himself is a young man. So that character is easily transferred into that principal boy-esque character. There are big tonal differences considering pantomime style was very comedic and supposed to be lighthearted and funny, and Dickens is Dickens. But the juxtaposition of what this story originally was and how it's now being transformed and told now works in this musical, especially with the chairman who is telling the story, talking directly to the audience, and often points out changes they made. They openly in the musical point out, look, Edwin Drood's uncle is like the obvious, likely the killer. But if there's an obvious killer, it's not much of a mystery. And so the musical adds in different suspicious characters to make it more confusing on who really did done it. And then the ending is truly a choose your own adventure. The audience gets to vote on who they think both a secret disguised detective is and who the killer is. Which, yes, does mean that Holmes wrote multiple endings for multiple different characters. The performers, the crew, everyone involved in the show have to prepare all the possible endings that could be, and in the moment just be ready for it. This musical overtly says, wow, it's wild that this murder mystery never got finished. Let's talk about that. Let's make how the story was written a part of the story, and let's make how we're telling it a part of the story too. The performance within a performance format allows us to really look at theater and how it's being done and celebrate it. I really hope this makes sense. I'm getting so excited just thinking about it. I'm having trouble making the mouth words. I love storytelling that has got to be blatantly obvious. And this show celebrates the telling of the story while they're telling it. I am 0% surprised that this musical won several Tonys. So yeah, Tessa, thank you for giving me a challenge that allowed me to truly geek out I am feeling so pumped now. I'm gonna take this footage and hopefully edit hyperactive, excited Abby into something that makes sense. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.